We are with Mr. Peter Jones at his bungalow in Terrace Estate, a beautiful part of the Nilgiris. And Mr. Peter Jones, as many know, was the owner of the Kodanad Estate near Kotigevi. He and his family had, since 1975, been part of it. And till 92, when it was alleged that he was forced to part with it. And the recent revelation, which Mr. Jones has come out with, that he was forced to sell it for a song, some 7.7 crores only, has created a sensation all over, not only all over Tamil Nadu, but all over the country. Now the public eye, in political circles, the public eye, everything is on Kodanad Estate. And so to get a perspective of the situation from Mr. Peter Jones, we are with him this afternoon. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. I'd like to start by trying to refocus this conversation. I got landed in this high-profile media position through no choice of my own. It was through the diligent efforts of a magazine reporter who wished to do an article on the extent of corruption, mainly in the hands of a small political elite in Tamil Nadu, and the impact that that was having on the state and the extent to which it had been going on. Kodanad was a very small part of that, and I agreed to discuss the issue of Kodanad only because in an overall ugly picture, Kodanad played a part. Where the extent of the publicity that the article has attracted has surprised me hugely. But having said that, there are many of us here in Tamil Nadu who have watched this amassing of wealth, this misuse of money, misuse of government departments to acquire enormous wealth, as I say, amongst the select few. And all of us who have either been victims or onlookers or simply residents of Tamil Nadu have been wondering, when is this going to become an issue? When are people going to put a stop to this? When is the public actually going to care about it? So to that extent, I'm really grateful that this issue has highlighted the overall concern of unbridled accumulation of wealth.
Media attention.
Media attention. I mean, to the extent Kodanad was one of the very, very early victims. And shortly after the acquisition of Kodanad, there was a court case taken by Subramaniam Swamy in which 32 or 35 companies were involved, Kodanad only being one of them. And we had assumed at the time that the legal efforts against this sort of accumulation of wealth will now stop. But far from it. I think it's accelerated rapidly and has continued to accelerate rapidly ever since. There's been no end to it, and there's, until now, been really no attention to it.
Yes, but it's been 25 years since this happened, 1992.
1994, actually.
1994, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, nearly about a quarter of a century it happened. So the question on everybody's mind is, why did the Jones family keep quiet for so long and didn't come out with this?
Let me put the same question to the media. Why for 25 years has nobody in Tamil Nadu opened their mouth about this? It's shameful. Here's something that's been blinding everybody in the state of Tamil Nadu, has been affecting the state of Tamil Nadu. These particular people have made a nonsense of the legal system in Tamil Nadu. they seem to be completely immune from any type of efforts. But for the last 25 years, there has never been a moment that I have not made my issues over the settlement of Kodanad abundantly clear. It's only now, because of this media attention, that it's suddenly getting noticed. But I have tried every way and means to get our settlement of Kodanad Estate complete.
Yes, sir. To begin with,
and
yes, sir.
If I can't get a settlement on Kodanad, then I intend to try to recover the property. It was coerced from us, but again, we were one company. Possibly, pretty much every acquisition this group of people have made have had the same repercussions for past owners. I'm well aware of people who have reluctantly had to part with properties as we had to. So, I don't wish to make this an issue about my affairs. It's something that's been affecting many, many people in town.
No, much has been said and much has been written about this issue over the past few days, ever since you came out with this. And the point, like everybody says, it was against your wish, against the family wish that this was taken away, coerced you, as you said, Couldn't you have resisted that sale in 92? Was the situation, was it so this thing that you had to part with it? Couldn't you have resisted?
Look, understand it like this. This was a property owned by my sisters, myself and my father, my mother. When all this pressure this pressure went on for about a period of 2 years. Everything from gundas to political interference to meddling with our business associates to misleading us and finally achieving the sale, because even at the last moment we were saying no. They then brought Mr. Ramaswamy Udaya into the picture to get their final resolution. We never ever sold this property to these people. We knew that they would go through any extent, including inducing Mr. Ramaswamy Udaya to act as a benami on their behalf. But at the end of 2 years, people will be wondering, just how long do you have to keep on going on with this? And I'm not pointing fingers at the Chief Minister or anyone else. As far as I'm concerned, the Chief Minister simply said, if an estate is available, I like this one and go ahead. Her machinery then behaved appallingly. And as I say, this is, not just my issue. No, from 92 to 94. 92,
someone approached you, you said. First yes. Approached you.
Yeah.
Who was this someone? Was it a bureaucrat? Was it a politician? Or was it a middleman? Or who was it? You said someone approached you in 92.
In that period, 92, 93, we were aware that Sasikala, on behalf of the Chief Minister, was touring the Nilgiris, looking at possible acquisitions of property, mostly tea estates. She visited many, many estates. She made feelers to some estates. But she, for some reason, took a liking to our particular property, whereupon, as I say, her machinery then took over. And we had discussed amongst ourselves as partners the possible sale of Kodanad. We had talked to potential buyers to try and get a value. We had liabilities we needed to clear. But we had properties, we had different ways of addressing all of this. Into that scenario came these people with bribery, corruption, muscle, whatever it took to basically see that they got the property. And we never ever agreed to sell it. We fought this right until the end. Hence Mr. Ramaswamy Udaya coming into the picture. And he came into the picture purely on the basis of this problem will never end I'm in a position to end it for you. You agree to these terms and conditions. This matter will be over, finished. We'll pay you immediately, no waiting for anything, this and that. But this low price had to be accepted by us because they weren't in a position to handle anything further than that. So we had an understanding that there would be certain compensation paid at a later date in a proper and correct way to address that situation.
What is a written understanding?
It's not a written understanding. There's a written agreement which addressed what was agreed there and then. The rest of it was a clear understanding between Mr. Ramasamy Odaya, various other intermediaries who were involved, and representatives of this political group.